Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're looking to organize your closet, you have come to the right video. I just finished organizing my closet and I was able to turn it from this hot mess to a very organized closet with a very small DIY in the process. I'm going to share with you everything that I did step by step so you can do the same, and I will also include some tips on how I keep my closet small, content, and organized throughout the year. First things first is clear the space. I swear to God, half the time I don't know what I'm working with until I clear the space. It gives me so much more clarity as to what I can do with the space to maximize the functionality of it. As I was clearing the space, I learned that I have so many shoes buried on the bottom of my closet that I had completely forgotten about. First of all, it doesn't make me happy to see that my shoes are just sitting there collecting dust, and that was the first light bulb that went in my head. And that is to add additional shelves at the top of the closet because there's a lot of wasted space on the top, and I could organize my shoes on the top instead of having them cluttered at the bottom. And that, my friends, is the main DIY portion of that video. I got my notebook and my measuring tape and I started measuring while drawing on the notebook where the shelves can go and how far apart they can be. Once I had all my measurements written down, I went to the garage and I started preparing the shelves. Lucky for me, I already had a really long shelf in my garage that was just left over from another project, so I cut that shelf into the correct measurements in order for it to fit in my closet, and I was actually able to get 2 shelves out of that one big one that I had. If you don't have a saw or you're nervous about cutting wood to the exact size, almost any hardware store has a saw and can cut wood for you. So when you go buy your shelves, you want to buy one that's bigger than the measurements that you need, and you can ask the staff to cut it for you. Now, the only thing I would recommend with that is call your store before you go and make sure that their saw is working and they have staff to help you. Because sometimes when I go and I need some wood cut, sometimes either the saw is not working or the person who knows how to operate it is not working today. So just save yourself some time by making that phone call before you go. And if they don't have someone to operate or if the saw is down, look for your next closest store and try that one. Next, I painted the shelves because, as you can see, my closet is currently all white and it just made sense that the shelves should be white too. And here is the best way I like to paint anything, especially if it was furniture or like a shelf or something that's not a dry wall. I start out with a primer. This is my favorite primer. It helps the paint adhere to the surface and it blocks any color or stain that the wood might have so it wouldn't surface up to the paint. The primer actually dries really quickly, so I am able to go in with paint right away. But the thing to remember when you want a really nice finish is to lightly sand between each layer. Basically, you want the sanding block to be gentle. You don't want it to be rough because you're not trying to remove the paint as you're sanding. You're just trying to smooth the surface before you go in with another layer of paint. And once I was done with this process, I got a really smooth coverage for the shelves. So to recap, you want to prime, lightly sand, 1 coat of paint, lightly sand, another coat of paint, and you'll be good to go. Now that my shelves are ready, I'm going to prepare the brackets. Now, if you were buying brackets for this project, you could just get white bracket or whatever color you want. I think they have like white, black, gray. But I was repurposing brackets as well. I have a ton of those brackets in my garage. I have no idea why. So I gave them a good clean, and I even had a little helper with me, and I spray painted it. Now it's time to install the shelves. Now, typically, if the screws that were going in the wall were going to be somewhere visible and I was picky about the placement of the screws, I would use anchors in the wall to make sure that whatever I'm hanging is going to be sturdy, but the screws are in the positions that I choose. But since these shelves are going in a closet that's going to be closed most of the time, I didn't care where the screws were going to land. So I got my stud finder and I looked for the studs and I labeled them on the wall with a pencil, and I chose to anchor the brackets straight in the studs, which means you don't need anchors at all. Using a stud finder is actually really easy. You just want to lay it on the wall and press on the button that comes on it and slide it from one end to another until it beeps, and right when it beeps you want to stop and create a pencil mark. And then you want to lift the stud finder from the wall, put it on the other side, press the button, and move in the opposite direction until it beeps again, and then you want to mark that with a pencil on the wall. And now from the first line to the second line, that's your stud. So if you were screwing anything in, you would want to screw it between the first line and the second line in order for it to be anchored properly. After securing the brackets in the wall, I brought in the shelf, and I also secured the bracket to the shelf using smaller screws. I was so happy with it having one shelf in, but my vision became complete after putting in the second one. Now it's time to put everything back, and this is actually the best opportunity to reconsider what I have and what I want to keep and what I want to donate. I have this one rule that I live by, which is if I have something and I haven't worn it in over a year, it needs to go. I just know that if I haven't worn it in a year, I will never wear it, and there's no reason to keep it in my closet. There is an exception to this rule, which is formal wear or occasional wear. Those are things you wear every once in a while anyways, but I didn't have to deal with that here because I don't keep my fancy dresses in this closet anyways. So everything in this closet is for my everyday use, and so that rule applies very well here. The other rule that I have, and this is something I practice throughout the year, is that every time I go shopping for every new piece that I want to add into my closet, I try to get rid of an old piece. So say if I go shopping and I buy 3 pairs of pants, I would want to go in my closet and try to take out 3 pieces that I don't like or don't fit or don't wear, and try to get them out of the closet to make room for the new ones. Sometimes I don't practice this rule very well, and that's why towards the end of the year I might do like a closet deep clean and practice rule number 1, which is if I haven't worn it in a year, it needs to go. I absolutely love the idea of putting my shoes on the very top. They won't get dusty, and to be honest, all these shoes on the top are not something I wear on a daily basis, so I don't mind them being farther away as long as they are organized, easy to see, and will stay dust free. I like to organize my clothes by color, so this took me a minute just going back and forth between hangers, because I just think when I organize them by color, it's just visibly so pleasing, and it makes me really happy to look at my closet. And there you have it, an organized closet, super functional, making a use of every inch of your closet and having everything super visible and easy to grab. If you learned something from this video, please show it some love. And if you have any questions at all about this whole process, just leave it in the comment box below and I'll be more than happy to get back to you.